It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me.
Yo, good morning.
Haven't seen you on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I don't come. I find Wednesdays quite boring. They're very...
the topics, right?
Yeah, businessy, kind of investment, financing.
Yeah, I'm entertainment.
Yes,
I like
yes. You love politics, YK. You also love this kind of conversation.
It depends on the politics.
You have to abuse government.
That's the one I like. Let's face government. But I'm fine. I want to... my original banter, it wasn't my original. I was first going to say this, that my heart goes out to South Sultan's family.
Yes.
He was a very lovely person. And we received the news with sadness because he was a staunch supporter of celebration, and I was really, really sad when I heard that. I didn't even know he was ill.
Yeah.
You know, and then I sat hearing the stories of, oh, he was ill. And no idea. Yeah. You know, but the original other banter that I wanted to do, you saved the person.
You saved.
I wanted to. Hi,
you can then please, I beg you.
You saved the person because I had sworn heaven and earth. I was going to give that banter, but.
Thank you for forgiving.
Thank you. On behalf of him, we all thank you.
Nigerians.
How you doing, though? How's everything else planned?
I'm fine. You know,
I love what you're wearing, though, YK.
Oh, thank
you. I love the hat.
Thank you.
I wish they could see your waist belt. Or...
My waist belt, it matches my...
the cowrie.
The cowrie.
We need to discuss cowrie, because I just feel like cowrie is a... juju, you know,
but it's cowrie that is on my adire.
I see that.
Cowries,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, I see that. We need to discuss it because we need to demystify these things. People always have they have this thinking of what these things represent.
Because they are local to us. So anything local to us is bad.
It's not even
see, I'm wearing this
it's not about
and there's a bit. It's local to me.
But this one is royalty.
Yeah.
Nobody would react otherwise.
No,
even
some they do.
Even
some they do. They say, look, you don't go chop
she's wearing it on her
heart of man.
Yeah.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
I asked for the anklets, the ankle bracelets. I asked for the beaded ones.
Okay.
So the person I wanted to buy Ramota, she said, are you sure you want to buy? Like, she doesn't know me, but she's like, are you sure you are okay? I said, yes, I would like to even see. Let me even bring it to the house and see what's happening.
I can't, this day can't go by without me saying, oh, Bijula, I loved your hair last week.
Oh, thank you.
That's such a lovely.
So African.
How you doing, Nima Akasha Zibiri?
I'm fine. Ilea is on Tuesday. It's on Tuesday. And
the Ram one.
Let me start getting a list of my Ram
Is it the Ram
destinations.
Here you'll not be praying for us to see money.
There's money.
In fact, God provide for us.
Murenike Basharu, I'm coming to your house. I'm going to start listing my Muslim friends.
I'm coming to your house.
You come to our house.
I think I'm saved by the traffic.
Is this the one that they...
This is the round one.
I'm
definitely doing my
in the house.
Are you having a party?
Small party.
Whoa.
My neighbors had Christmas parties for me, and I didn't do it.
Traffic,
So they are going to come and sit with me.
No, we have helicopter. Don't worry.
Is there a hotel in your area? Maybe I can come.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah. How are you doing, BC?
I'm doing amazing. We thank God. So my younger daughter graduated from nursery school yesterday.
Congratulations.
I made a very lovely white gown. She was looking like it was her wedding. She was lifting the gown as she was moving, you know. And I thought that you're a big girl now. You know you're a big... Say, I'm a big girl now. I'm now in primary school. I'm now in... I said, hey. So please, you know, those things you still do as a baby. Now when you resume, no nap time, because nursery, they used to sleep. They give them like an hour to rest. Imagine. No nap time. You're going to walk all through. So you must go to bed. I'm going to write a timetable for you. And I'm like, Mommy, it's sounding so difficult.
No,
it's so hard.
What time do they close?
3 p.m.
The nursery and the
nursery and primary.
Hours are so long.
Yeah, I think so.
So they have to nap a bit. But once you're in primary, no more napping.
I mean, when I was in secondary school, 2 p.m. we have closed.
That time now, that year.
10 to 2.
That year. And also, nurturing the nurturer registration has started. So people are beginning to call in to register their teachers, parents, and
this
school owners.
Which one are you?
This is this is the third edition. Yeah, this is the third
well done. We love progress.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're starting with the nation. Senate bill proposes 10 years jail for hate speech. Governor Lord Tinubu's refurbishing of Arewa House Library. House asked Buhari to fight insurgency with mercenaries. INEC job Onoche's rejection good for democracy. Media bill on hold at House for Representatives. And 41.2 million vaccine doses coming this month. All right, which story is that the major headline, the hate speech?
Headline for
Another paper.
More detailed. The way it's taken in the nation can be a bit misleading.
Should I do?
Go ahead, BC.
COVID-19?
Yes,
So the federal government yesterday disclosed that by the end of September, the country would have received a cumulative of 41.2 million vaccines through the COVAX facility and the African Union Commission. They also stated that we have 3.9 million doses of Oxford as AstraZeneca that are also expected at the end of the month or early next month by COVAX facility, and also another 3.9 million doses of Pfizer biotech COVID-19 vaccines expected next month again from the COVAX facility, and this is being donated by the United States government. We also have 3.5 million doses of Pfizer biotech COVID-19 vaccine expected in the third quarter from also the COVAX facility. And he's saying that the AstraZeneca we are taking in Nigeria actually fights against the Delta variant that is, circulating right now. So we should not throw away all of the precautions that we're supposed to be taking, the using of our face masks, the washing our hands, using sanitizers. Don't assume that because you've already taken the first and second doses of the vaccine that you are immune or you are free. You should protect yourself.
The picture story in the nation. Former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, renovated and upgraded, refurbished the Arewa House Library. And because it's a library is why I'm excited about this, because I don't see libraries anymore. I grew up in them. And all the governors, governor of Lagos State, represented by the deputy governor, the governor of Kaduna, Katsina, and all the vice chancellor of the Ahmadu Bello University, as well as the third fund chairman, all commended him for this initiative. I hope that it will be copied in other states and we'll have more libraries.
I was going to take the story on the fact that the House is asking the president to fight insurgency using mercenaries. And they're saying that we need help, according to them. It says they need to give immediate consideration to the use of private defense contractors for targeted security operations. And they said two key things that need to be done. First of all, to secure our borders, to stop illicit arms from getting into the country. And more importantly, they should reach out to overseas arms dealers to stop selling to non-state actors. So they need to enlist the dealers and these corporations, and so that we know who they are and ensure they don't sell to non-state actors.
We could do one more story.
Yeah, the media bill.
Yes, so sponsor of the controversial Nigeria Press Council, NPC, presented before the House of Representatives, saying that the media cannot force the House to drop any bill before it. That what they are planning to do now is to suspend that bill because they need to properly consult with stakeholders, that they didn't do that before presenting the bill. And one of the steps of consultation is to have a public hearing, which they are going to follow through on. But the media does not have a right to say that they are trying to gag them, and so they would to force them to stop the bill, that they don't have a right to do that. But they will go through the proper channels of consultation.
So that's compromise.
But the chairman of the NUG, I think, actually said that they should have consulted them before. That they should have. It's not that you just come and surprise them with the bill.
Exactly.
It's part of the bill.
Exactly. Right, and that's democracy at play right there, because you can't just come up with ideas. You think it's a great idea, you bring it to the National Assembly. First of all, let's do it public. Let's hear people's views on it before you then bring it to the House, because you're representing the people. Moving on to the Punch. Buhari is set to represent actually Onoche. PDP senator differ over rejection. Rapist tied Omomi's hands and neck before killing her, says the relation to the murderer. CCT chair tackles Senate in court. National Assembly threatens judge's arrest. EFCC breaks into Lagos hotel, arrests 30 over fraud. 3 killed as military officers clash with Lagos traders. APC rebukes factional youths demanding Abdulrazak's removal. Delta variant's rapid spread fear rises as Nigerians abandon COVID-19 rules. Crisis looms in APC over registered members and consensus arrangement. And Senate passes campaign hate speech bill. Offenders risk 10-year imprisonment. Okay, that's us human interest story. Who was that?
I want to take the
hotel.
You can take the second one.
Okay.
Mobiajulu will take the hotel.
Okay.
Ma will take the
military.
Yeah, the military.
Okay.
It was at the International Trade Fair, Ladipo Market. Is that near you?
Yeah.
No, Ladipo Market is at Moshodi.
Okay.
Motion, sorry.
So anyway, the military, there are 2 stories. This is the trader's story, that these 2 guys came in, the military guy and his orderly came in to buy spare parts or to return spare parts. When he was on their way out, they asked them to pay their 200 naira pass. And he said no. When they now started to fight, so the boys now beat the military guy. The military guy went back
Reinforcement.
brought reinforcement, and then they started shooting. And this guy, Felix, got shot. He died in the car. The spokesperson for the Air Force said, no, that's not what happened, though. What happened was that the military... please.
They were trying to solve debt. It was more like a debtor. Yeah, somebody was owing somebody, and then they got into an argument, and then the people were now stoning them, they fired rifles and all of that, but he's yet to confirm exactly what happened.
He said the Air Force came and snatched the Air Force gun from him, and then when they got the gun back, they just started firing by mistake. It was very convenient.
Very convenient story. Yeah,
okay, let's take the
30 suspects, has been arrested by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's EFCC, during a raid on Pactonian Hotel in Lekki. So this raid happened on Tuesday, and they gained entry into the hotel, forced the attendants to give them the MasterCard of the rooms at gunpoint. They took it and barged into people's rooms. They said they met some of them were, according to some eyewitnesses, some of them were lying down naked in the rooms when they entered and dragged these young people out, saying that they had intelligence and they were information for them to come and carry out that raid. But the fear is now, where does, fundamental human rights of citizens fall into for you to come in to carry out a raid, a hotel, that's a private business, first of all, and then you hold them at gunpoint to release the keys to the rooms of people who paid money to get into that hotel. Where do we balance it?
Go into the rooms illegally. You can be, I'm sure they met some people in flagrante delicto.
Yes, so before.
But the EFCC does have a right to have those sting operations. So I get we don't know where the
EFCC is a financial crimes unit.
Thank you.
Sting operations, I think they require a search warrant #1.
Exactly.
To go in, and they require to give the people notice ahead.
We'll find out. We'll find out because we need to know if this was right. But I was going to take the story, the major headline on Oche. Because the president is still representing her, nominating her for the REC job. Although the Senate had rejected the nomination. Remember, there was a public outcry, and it was widely debated, and many people believe that she shouldn't be given that job because of her partisanship. But although the reps have said that it is clear that she's not a registered member of any political party, yes, but because of other factors, she's no longer. Well, for other factors they raised, saying that they couldn't bring her on as the REC. However, JAMB has said that the senators have distinguished themselves by this rejection, that it shows that indeed they're speaking for the people. Although some have come out to say that, listen, what's our issue going on? Because I think it was Gaya that was saying that there's another REC chair who currently is a party member of PDP, and he's still the REC chair. So what's the hula baloo about us insisting that Onoche cannot become...
That means they didn't do their work well.
Cannot become...
that means they didn't do their work well.
I think he says that the commissioner for Edo State, that's Johnson Alalibo, is a member of Bayelsa State House of Assembly. He's a card-carrying member of PDP appointed by former Goodluck Jonathan, and was a PDP... and it was a PDP, and it was a REC at that time.
To excuse another wrong.
You can't.
And I think, just like one person spoke yesterday, said it would be unfortunate for the president to represent Onoche.
And you see,
the whole of Delta State.
But you see, the reason that they rejected her, she can actually appeal. She can even go to court. Because they didn't reject her based on her partisanship. They rejected her because they say she doesn't have they already have somebody from federal character. But the person that is federal character there is actually representing Cross River State. Because she's there by her husband's
tribe state of origin.
Not by her own state of origin. Okay. So she can actually appeal. So they didn't reject her based on this partisanship.
But anyways, the president says he strongly believes in her because this is the presidential spokesperson. They didn't tell us who the person was. But they're saying that she's very qualified for the job. They have her CV and she's the right person for that. They
cannot give her another dignified job that will respect her.
To me, it doesn't seem as if she has integrity. Let me tell you why I say so. She had taken someone to court. Someone on Facebook last month to say she's a PDP APC member. She had gone to court and sworn an affidavit to say, yes, I'm not saying I'm not an APC member.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so let's move on now to Vanguard. Use mercenaries to fight insurgency. Reps tell federal government. 1 killed, 3 injured as military personnel traders clash in Lagos. Kanu Igboho, we won't allow Buhari take us back to 1984, says Falana. Electoral offences bill. Snatch, destroy ballot boxes, papers, get 20 years jail term, says Senate. NBC, NPC bills have been suspended, says Odebumi. All right, Ataga stop parading Chidima Ojoku for social media interviews, reps tell IGP, and Unilag raises alarm over COVID-19 third wave. Okay, which story? Nima, go ahead.
So the House of Reps moved and they said they gave immediate consideration to, they told the federal government to give immediate consideration to the use of private defense contractors for targeted security operations to combat insurgency, and also approved what they called the installation of CCTVs and other means to assist in, we call it early warning signals. So use CCTVs to cover certain areas to assist in the fight for insurgency, and they've approved that. I hope that it's not as expensive as I know it to be, and I hope that it can be resorted to.
Falana has spoken at the 87th birthday of the Nobel laureate, Wole Soyinka, and he says Buhari shouldn't change turn Nigeria to what it was in 1984, where he kidnapped Umaru Diko. And they put him in a crate. They have not come out to tell them how they brought Kanu back. Kenya have said, no, they're not admitting to anything. And that even if you're going to go through Interpol, there's a process that you have to go through before you can bring somebody back through Interpol. So they have not confessed to us on how they brought Kanu back.
Yes.
And so they are stepping on his fundamental human rights. He's alleging that he was drugged and brought back, and that they shouldn't turn Nigeria to...
Yeah, 19. And also, concerning Sunday Igboho, he further said that protests, even that Buhari also protested and joined them back in I think it was 2003. Saying that Buhari was joining the protests then, where they went to court, where they were dispersed by the Obasanjo administration. They went to court and they won the case. So why would you now criminalize people having peaceful rallies across the country? That's what the law now says is that if you're going to have any protests, get the police involved for protection. That's what
inform them to protect the people, not go and take permission. It is just to inform them. I'm having a rally. Please,
we need you.
We need you to come and protect people.
Simple.
That's all.
Another story?
Yes, Unilag. There's fear of possible outbreak of the third wave of COVID-19 in Unilag. So the management is saying that a lot of students are coming to the medical center with flu-like symptoms like COVID-19. But they are telling, they've spoken to the students, they are telling everybody not to be afraid, but they should just continue using the proper guidelines, and they'll see how they can manage what is happening in the school.
All right, I just got a message from somebody saying that the Onoche story Actually, she made the declaration for APC back in 2016. The news provided the disclaimer, not 2021. Someone's going to dig it out, make it look as if it was recent. It wasn't recent. It was actually 2016. So let's be fair to the woman. Okay, another story. Okay, let's move on now to the Nigerian Tribune. Ballot box snatchers risk 20 years. Did nobody read that story?
I read it too.
Please, I was waiting for you to tell us.
I read it in the Nation.
NDLEA arrests 7 drug kingpins in raids across 3 states. Alleged mother Chidinma must not die in police custody, reps warn police. 3 failed killed in clash between military military men in Ladipo market. I use all necessary means to end insurgency, says Buhari. INEC, federal character principle knocks off Onoche, Senate confirms 5. Governors meet today on PIB, legislative judiciary autonomy, and executive order 10. NSAS, or your judicial panel, treats 163 petitions on police abuses, and hard knocks for National Assembly as FG over proposed NBC amendment bills. Okay, let's take the major headline.
The Senate passed yesterday the Electoral Offences Commission bill. So that bill establishes that for snatching of ballot boxes is a 20-year jail term or 40 million naira fine or both. And in that, why I left the headline in the Nation, because there's a portion of the several sections in the bill that addresses hate speech that was singled out as the headline in the Nation. This is related to electoral offenses where a person publishes, defames, or any form of print or whatever that addresses or tries to destroy a person's character towards achieving an election success. That puts the fine at 10 years imprisonment or 10 million naira or both. And I think that I would have loved that the Nation took the article the way the Tribune did and addressed the bill itself. So the hate speech bill has been put to rest, and this is the Electoral Offences Commission bill to empower INEC, because INEC used to talk about their inability to prosecute electoral offenders. So now this bill seeks to empower them to not only arrest, but with the fact that they have prosecute and find electoral offenders guilty.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, so the House of Representatives yesterday, asking the Nigerian force to conduct a proper investigation into the alleged killing of the Super TV CEO, and they should stop allowing Chidinma to grant interview across on the matter. They're also asking the IG of police to ensure that there are no violation of human rights, and they should, in the future, should limit media access to suspected persons so that you don't compromise the case in court. And then they're asking that nothing must happen to Chidinma in detention. She must not die, or she must not commit suicide. She must be protected till we see through the case.
Okay, so on behalf of Mariam Longe, I'll take the NDLEA story because she loves the stories. And if there's any agency that is working, it's NDLEA, because we keep seeing every single day reports of busts. So right now, they actually busted a cartel carrying 43 kg of cocaine and skunk. According to them, they're trying to avert security operatives. So they went through the waterways between Edo and Kogi states. And they found a Toyota Avalon car loaded with the cannabis ferried across the waterways from Edo State going on to Kogi. And also another team busted a group in Nasarawa State on July 8th. They raided one of the most hostile drug joints in the state capital. And so many, even in FCT, all over in Makurdi, the busts are going across the country. And I'm happy that they seem to be getting some results from these busts, and hopefully that links them to the bigger cartels that are actually bringing in these drugs from different countries into the country.
It used to be dangerous for NDLEA to bust any cartel in Edo and Delta State, so we must commend them. It used to cost lives to have those raids.
Quickly before we go, there was an accident that happened in, I think, Oyo State, Ibadan, yes. So this fuel tanker lost control and ran into 13 vehicles that were just waiting at the traffic lights.
Wow.
And then a lot of cars were damaged, though they said nobody died, but a lot of, I think about 10 people were injured.
Picture story here?
Yes, the picture story, yeah. And 10 people were injured. So it was just a matter of losing control and, it's something that you can't avoid. I'm still wondering what happens that they constantly lose control. Those tanker drivers, either the brake fails or
they are sleeping. One of them are asleep. Some of them actually sleep off.
The drivers, look, you know that when we used to go on tour in England, in Europe, the driver cannot drive for a number of more than a number of hours. He must stop at least one, and the buses had beds for the drivers to go and sleep. So the driver will
rest your mind,
rest your head.
sleep, come back, he will be
refreshed.
Another
and
system
then
I
drive
experienced in the US is that a driver can take it from New York to maybe another state. I can't remember the state. There, they exchange. A new driver takes over from him and moves on to another state. Maybe 3-5 days, drive 5 hours, stop by, another driver takes up from the same company, and they rotate with each other that way. So it's like there's a system that you don't sleep.
Driving fatigue is real.
Okay, moving on quickly to the Daily Sun. I think we have to run right now. Let's find one story that we've not taken. Igbo will stand by Kanu Ohaneze insists. Ekiti sues to seize house, hotel used for rape. Senate goes tough on electoral violence. Nigeria lucky to remain united despite challenges, says Buhari. Anti-open grazing bill passes first reading in Delta Assembly. Okay, you have Ohaneze.
Yes, Ohaneze and Igbo said that they will stand by their son, Kanu. And they have, supported the fact that they wanted restructuring of the nation. They've also condemned the killings that have been happening. They've invited their young men and women to come so that they can, have a proper conversation on how to move the country forward. But now that Kanu has been picked up, they cannot abandon him. They have said they are going to support him with getting lawyers to plead his case. He is a son of Igbo land, and they will stand with him.
And the Attorney General also mentioned yesterday that they received the delegates from Ohaneze and Igbo to support Kanu. And there are two issues. There's one of the alleged criminality of getting people killed in the southeastern states. There's the other part of secession agitation. So there are two different things. The people that say they support the fact that, yes, he's supporting the people for secession, asking for that independence. But the other part of it, they would not support criminality either, yes. if he's guilty or found guilty of being the one instigating the violence that happened in the southeast. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Senate Committee on Basic Education said it would pursue the amendment of the law establishing the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, to enable it to limit the age of candidates writing the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations, UTME, to 16 years and above. According to reports, candidates below the age of 16 should not be admitted into university because age had a lot to do with the candidate's learning ability. Actually, I thought it was 18 they were talking about, but so 16 for the
exam.
Yeah.
Before the result comes out and everything now.
So what are your thoughts? You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read your messages. All right, so what are your thoughts on this? I mean, people have argued that once a child graduates from secondary school, automatically once they pass the exam, they should be allowed into the university. Others are saying that, listen, they're too young. Let their mind form. Let them develop. Because university comes with a lot of challenges that a young mind might not be able to deal with. What are your thoughts on this? Let me start with Nima. Go ahead, please.
I think that the Senate is
on track. On track.
They're doing the right thing. I believe that there should be that age and allow children grow at a pace that is, that is good for them. If a child enters the university lower than certain age, that child needs to be moved around by a mentor in school. And if most children get there, they want that independence entirely to themselves. If we calculate 2 years, which is usually, although it's not approved by educationists across the world, but 2 years as a first class of nursery and the 4 years of kindergarten,
before primary.
Basic, Nursery school, the 4 developmental years for nursery. And then a child gets into primary. You will be looking towards 16 as the age of JAMB as well. So most of us, I wrote WAEC at 16, and JAMB and all of that were in the right order. By the time you get to school, you're formed, you're well formed. Although people still do make mistakes in those ages, but it's more common for those young ones who are easily intimidated. And the university system in Nigeria is not joke. I went to a very, very popular university at the time for certain activities, and I know how many young people fell victim to that. I would have wished that, you know, their parents were still with them in school. But this is the age where a child's supposed to be free and independent of parents and all of those guardianship.
So as an educationist, I would agree with Nima on one side, but as a Nigerian who wants to face the Nigerian reality, I would say that it's not the right step. So they have a plan, they're making a good point, which is a child needs to be mature to be able to handle school. So school is not just about the learning. Everything that happens in that environment is part of school. And when you're mature, your mind is open to take in and make informed decisions, which is on one hand very good. But we realize that we are not talking about regular school where you are doing a course of 4 years, you go in 4 years and you come out. You're doing a course of 4 years with the strike and no strike and strike and no strike. You end up spending 8 years. Now, the labor market has put a cap on employment that after 25, you find there are some industries you can't even get into right now. The banking sector, you can't get in when you are after 25. So by the time you enter school at 18, you spend everything you need to spend, plus and minus strike, you come out at 24, 25, before you get your NYC and all of that, you are out of the labor market. So the reality on ground does not prepare us to have this sort of, you know, allowing children to mature while getting into school. So parents have found a way to protect their children by pushing them into universities very early so that they can beat all the strike and still come out and get a decent job. What I would have expected, this sort of bill or, you know, this plan that we have, is that we as academia start having negotiations with industry to say that you cannot put a cap on 25 years before you say you are not going to employ this person anymore because they passed the age, knowing that we have issues in our educational system that we have not sorted. So let us sort those issues. I also expect union to come out and tell this industry that you cannot put a cap at 25 when we are busy increasing the teachers. Now you can retire at 65. Why are we putting a cap on 25? The African man naturally starts maturing from 25 to 30. He's not abroad where at 18 they send you out of your parents' house.
You can stand when to hire or when not to hire.
No. The government has a responsibility to negotiate with industry. They give them the opportunity.
But there's also the other part of, why can't the government also ensure the schools are conducive enough to engage any child of any age? So shouldn't the school know that, yes, I have a 16-year-old coming in. This is the various, these are the various things that we have available to make sure this child doesn't get into all this kind of various vices and all that.
The thing is, at 16, a child is still very pliable.
Yes.
In England, for instance, you can't enter a university till 18.
Yes.
But you can go to college. If you go to college, like when Made went to university in England, he had to go to, because he was too young, he went at 15, he had to go to college for 2 years first, before he now went to university. So it was at college he learned how to play the piano properly. You know, so you have to have something in place for that.
That's the point I'm making. So instead of the government insisting, so let's solve a problem. So you're saying a college might be that intermediate place where you go between secondary school and university, fine. But can't we then have something such that a 16-year-old who leaves school has a place? You don't just tell, go and stay in the house.
I think this solution is even closer to us than we think. So the UTME results now, before, we used to have to write a separate exam for the polytechnic admission and the colleges of education and a different one for JAMB. So you know where you were going. But now you write a UTME, Unified Tertiary Matriculation Exams, and you qualify for all the levels of education all the way to the university. Then the decision is now with the parents. You can decide that, my child is still 16. I need this child closer to home. Learn this particular skill and prepare for your tertiary.
But every year, but your exam, you have to do the exam every single year.
Every year expires.
If you're the same brain, you go take right the exam.
You know it's you.
No, it's not. See, you see here, for someone who wrote 5 jams, five jams, I will tell you that it's the same mindset. There's nothing to it. It's the fear that made all of us make so many mistakes. The JAMB that I played with the most is the one I got admission with. The one that I will read, they will shout at home, you will not even greet your neighbor, good morning, you will not come outside, see sunlight. Is the ones I will get to the exam, I will be so jittery. And I think maybe because my first JAMB was at 16, that's why I didn't do so well. But there are times when you as a parent decide for your child what is best for your child, not compete with people about the graduation age. What BC said about compelling industries to stop this age pecking, because what we have done to our people is to turn all of us to liars.
Yes, so
football age everywhere, everybody football age everywhere. We're all reducing our age. Some people have 3 best certificates. You cannot explain.
So you see,
on this set, go. It's only Mariah or no that we know our age. Everybody else will tell you.
I will not tell you yet, but you know.
The way they are 40, the way you know their age.
We keep quiet.
We even tell you.
He's more than
that's how I heard Jumoke was 40 the other day. I said, when did she turn 40?
No, but we knew her age
Jumoke
before.
I didn't know. I was still saying,
Jumoke has never his
So we're going to go on a break. See, when we come back, I want us to focus on the fact that...
The solution?
So no, not just solution. In Nigeria, the Nigerian factor, we don't solve problems. We always try to avert and avert. We'll talk about that. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, I was saying that the Nigerian factor of when you see a problem, we don't solve it. Like we know abroad, when the child graduates from secondary school, they go for a 2-year A-levels before they now finally get into university. What are we doing to ensure that we're not stopping the child? We're not saying, oh, stay at home for 2 years. We're not asking you because we're not against you making the law to be 18. What does the child do in 2 years? Keep writing exams? There's got to be provisions made for these children. So all across the world, just like you said, in some places they allow them to go to college. I'm told that in Germany also they don't allow you to enter university until 18. But what do our children do within those 2 years? That's the question for the government. There has to be a provision made.
Yeah, so like you rightly said, we don't like to solve problems. We always point out, you know, just find a way to run away from the real issues. Now, I would expect that before any lawmaker sits down to make any pronouncements on education, that you look through the problems that we have and you come up with logical solutions, realistic solutions based on the sort of nation that you have. So you are not going to use Oyibo solutions that it won't work for us here. You have to give us homegrown solutions. You will look through the system to see that those people there who go to colleges, who go to IBs for that 2 years while they are waiting to get into the university, they have a system that works. So a course of 4 years, you get in and you get out when it's 4 years. But right now, if you want to start bringing all that, it's still a form of delay that will not pay the poor man who does not have any uncle or auntie somewhere to put them in positions after their age has passed employment age. So it will not pay them. You will just be satisfying the 1%. Who can afford to go to the best universities and afford to, you know, without stripe, come out at the prime age and get the very good job? Now, those 99% of us who may not likely be able to send our children to universities without strike will be the ones to suffer. So when you want to solve this problem, you need to look at the majority. Don't solve it from a position of we can afford to go to school, come out, do college, and still finish on time. Solve it from the common man's eye.
Let me take this call. Hassan is holding for you. Hassan, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
All good morning.
Good morning, sir.
There's one thing I would like all of you to understand. My first point is about President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. President, take a humble pie and step down in the prison.
Oh, man, we lost that. I think we want to talk about no chair for a second. All right, so, Raiki, we've all talked about how important education is, especially once we move these, we're going into the 4th industrial revolution where everybody's going AI, robotics is there. These 2 years, if the government says, you know what, once you leave secondary school, there are like 4, 5, 6 different industries. There's the carpentry industry. There's the mechanics industry. There are so many electrical industry. There's so many industries where we need people who are now, they've gone through that secondary system. Before you get into university, let's begin to learn these different things. By the time you get into university, you can now choose, okay, what do I want to develop? Which part of it do I want to? Because yes, they go through vocational during the secondary school, but because it's still at that basic level, they don't understand or appreciate the enormity of what they have. But the moment they enter that 2-year period, for them to go to industries, you'll be surprised the kind of real professionals who bring out, they'll enter university and then become real entrepreneurs.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you've all said. But I need to ask the government, why must the universities be striking? Why must I go to university for 4 years and spend 8 or 10?
That's the issue.
Ask Asuna. It's not us that will go on strike.
There's something they call something now. If a government was doing it, I also will not be going on strike now.
Let me take this
when I was
body.
I hardly ever heard of universities going on strike.
Let me take Akimbody. Akimbody, are you there? You're live. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so regarding this issue, I believe the senators are not business, and they know the root cause of this issue, and that is what is raised.
I'm having difficulty hearing you. Akimbody. Oh, lost that. Yes, Nima, you're going to say something.
Okay, I wanted to disagree that our lawmakers were not thinking problem solutions. I think they were just, we have a habit, most of our laws are copied. So we go abroad, this is the way they do it. International standards, now get us to where we do. So you copy. So we don't localize our problem. So the person who probably proposed this law has not looked well into the industry, probably is in that elite class where they graduate and get jobs. So they've not seen the person who's waiting 10 years and finally had to go and learn entrepreneurship after graduating. If not, as we are going to school, we'll be creating these rooms for our students. So there was a time when they called it, there was an IT that was required for university undergraduates at the time, because those in the polytechnics would have their normal 1-year IT and they had the work experience filled up. So we only had the NYSC. So there was this 3 months, 6 months, 6 months, 3 months IT. I think that was compared. I'm trying to remember the name of that program done for undergraduates in the university at the time to help them fill up the work experience, and maybe working mentor and all of that vacancy, but it didn't work. Nobody has looked into why it's still just a logbook system where you never really know your worker before you're done. Where our companies are now using it to fill up. Some companies will say, okay, every 3 months I get a new staff in this particular department, I will never have to pay a worker here. So they wait for the IT to come. They filled up for that IT. And every year, every 3 months, they just get a new person to do that job. No working, no lunch, nothing. So CWES. Yeah. So I would love that when a lawmaker is bringing a law, that person is very well abreast of all the issues.
Let me take this
call. All the issues, not just as they're doing it.
Femi, are you there? Hello, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
This is my first time of calling.
Welcome to the show, Femi.
The truth is, the topic on ground has to do with we understanding that our educational system is faulty. Too faulty to the extent that you have a lot of miracle centers now that you're so sure that all you need to do is just pay your money and your child will pass whatever exam he or she wants to attend. Now, at the age of 14, 15, let's be honest, those exams are usually tougher than those children at that age. But because we have miracle centers that they just need to pay at pass, now they can go in at any age, pass, and finish off. So if they finish at that age, you can't keep them in your home. Definitely you want to push them down to the university. And once they are in the university, they are just naive to everything. So, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, please. Oh, we're having issues online. I listened to Governor Baseki recently when he was launching the Edo Best 2.0. And he said something, that they're extending basic education from primary all the way to GSS. What they've realized is that after GSS, a child can then decide, do I want to continue academics or do I want to continue vocational? So they branch, they have a Y shape where those of you that want to go vocational, you can become experts either as carpentry, mechanism, electrical, or if you like academic work, I want to do the doctors, you want to become the whatever, you go ahead. So that's somebody who is deliberate about how do we make education functional, not just because of Igbo's mindset where you must have university degree. How do we make it functional for our economy? How do we Nigerianize it? How do we localize it such that we have real people who we graduate are usable for our economy?
It's not the problem of employment.
Nima, it's not even Oyibo that said we must have certificates. Because if you check the statistics across the world, it's the very rich people that send their children to the universities abroad. And that quality of university education, they don't focus on the paper qualification, but on the skills that you have. We are the ones who have now bastardized it to ensure that once you have paper, whether you have anything on your head or not, just be claiming I'm BSc this, I'm BSc that. We are the ones that did that ourselves. And it's time for us to now go back and start asking ourselves the question, has this certificate served us? That's
but paper is important for doctors, like for doctors.
No,
those professionals.
No, those are professionals. But that caller mentioned something about miracle centers. Because of the way the situation has gone, parents are not trying to rush their children so that we can push you out. And then at 13, 14, they pay for those examinations for them to write. You get into school, you mess out, you come out, you pay for certificates, and then you have nothing to show for it. Because of the system.
Let's check Janet. I'll come to you, Nima. Janet, are you there? Oh, her lines are really bad
today. The history of our education system is such that we must take it holistically. I remember when the first female presidential candidate, Obi Ezekwesili, was education minister. We had our vocational education revamped. We have school for technical knowledge. We have the Petroleum Institute in Warri was created for certain skills. So, but are we employing the people from those skills? Are we looking to those schools to make sure that the graduates of those people of those schools have dignity? That's where the problem is in Nigeria. Not in the lack of school, not lack of education. Every government that comes in will create one government
but they're not enough.
About education.
Like in Lagos, we only have 5
but the
technical
ones that have graduated,
have they been employed?
Many of them have been empowered, but it's not enough.
Not all of them.
We don't have the numbers now.
I know graduates from the Petroleum Institute in Efuru who are into ball digging. And all of that around doing other labor. When they created them, it was to cover for the lapses in the petroleum industry, such that you no longer go and find a graduate who does not have a skill, and then be finding somebody to come and train them. They were trained from ground up to filling those vacancies, but no, that was not.
Let's take a few messages and we'll run off.
Bilikis Mafe says, we must stop talking about graduates finding a job or being overage. We need to allow people consider technical college and not waste time being jammed by JAMB. It's an absolute waste of time and talent.
Because, go ahead, Wake.
Olabode, done for engineering students. It's called Students Work Experience Program, SWEEP, and SIWES, Students Industrial Work Experience Program, and IT, of course. Okay.
So, you know, like, the way, go ahead.
I had one. Onye Umari Azomta says, we don't solve problems wholly in this country. We just want to scratch the surface and masquerade as bringing solutions. Who said reaching 18 is synonymous to maturity? In my opinion, any child who is educationally and mentally smart to handle higher institutions should be allowed to do so. Instead of restricting them from gaining entrance into these schools, we should rather focus our energy on flushing the problems in the system.
We have to run, but I mean, the same way how we have to run, Wake. As Rwanda has become like the technological hub of Africa, because they focus that this is what we want to be the destination when it comes to IT, AI in Africa. We also have to focus on what do we want?
What do we want?
Where exactly do we want our children? How kind of children do we want to raise? And that should be the ones to lead the formation or the model we put together for the children that we are hoping to have.
I also think that we should even stop undermining people who are like plumbers, carpenters,
yes, want to professionalize it.
And dignify their jobs.
Without those people,
yes.
you cannot.
That's what I'm saying. We need to professionalize it.
We lost it already. We now bring them from outside.
Yes.
We took out the dignity from these jobs, called them all sorts of names. Some people will tell you, you are an ordinary, and you know, you are an ordinary.
So that's the point I've been making. We need to professionalize this carpentry work. A real professional doing it, such that it becomes to be part of the economical development of our country. Okay, that's all we can take on this. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're back. We're now live. Today we're discussing cooking gas. It is now very expensive. I just called my gas man. He says it's. I used to buy cooking gas. It used to be 3,500. Then it moved to 4,000. Then I think last I bought it was 4,000. I bought it 4,500 last. Now I spoke to my cooking gas. Now he says it's now 5,500. Yep. What happened? We have with us Dr. Yinka Okweke, who is a gas expert, to shed light on this issue of cooking gas, especially now that the country wants to stop us from using other dangerous things like kerosene, and they want to give gas at the cylinders across the country, so because people have found it expensive to use gas cylinders within their houses. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show. So, I don't even know where to start from, because we know that diesel has been subsidized. We were trying to get them to stop subsidizing fuel. In this case, is gas subsidized or is it not subsidized? Let's start with that.
I think that's a very big question, and I don't even know how to break it down.
Okay.
For starters, I'm not a gas expert. Okay. I'm just a player as well who is as perplexed as you guys at what is going on.
Right.
I'm also a mother, a homemaker who also has to buy gas.
Yes.
You know, so I kind of like wear two caps.
Good.
You know, and just like you have rightly said, since the onset of our business in the gas industry, we have seen how the prices have steadily increased, and how, unfortunately, the end users are the ones that bear the brunt. You know, so yesterday we still had a meeting with the Nigeria LPG Association. It's kind of like an association of LPG, and we were eager to listen to an explanation for the hike in prices. But I can tell you for sure, we couldn't categorically say it was this particular reason. But based on so many things and our friends in the industry, you know, interactions with people in the Department of Petroleum Resources and things like that, a lot of them are attributing it, of course, increase in the dollar issue, increase in crude oil. You're talking about logistics issue. They're talking about hoarding because of the VAT that they just pushed on LPG. So just like in PMS, when they're telling you they want to increase the price, those who have products start holding back on their products. You know, so you have the issue of hoarding, that also increases the price. You have the issue of, you know, round tripping, when they say that there was something wrong with the LPG vessel. When it was coming, they had to take it back. So it's a whole... So
for those of our viewers who don't know LPG, LPG is just liquefied petroleum gas. So it's gas, normal gas.
This is one cooking gas.
Yes, right.
Sorry, I do hope it's not a stupid question. You know that gas that they are always flaring?
That's it.
Is it not the gas that they are wasting that is inside our cooking pots?
Well, I know, because now, so a lot of gas is just gaining a lot of attention now, as you would know. So most of the things that we're hearing is from data that we gather, secondary data, primary data actually, and then they're saying that we have over 200 million cubic feet of gas that we are yet to flare. You know, so they're trying to say that we have the capacity. However, NLNG Limited, you know, they're saying that they provide 40% of the Nigerian gas, and that's about 370,000 metric tons, you know, by 2020. But they're saying that they will increase the capacity by 2021 to give us more gas and all that. So yes, to answer your question, yes, but is it enough? Are we exploring enough, you know, for domestic use? Apparently not. So that's one language. Availability is one language, and then the price is something else. So, yeah, go ahead.
For me, for a product that we have in excess, to the extent that we can just burn it and destroy ozone, you know.
Destroy ozone.
Yes, it's anti-productive to our environment. but we allow it happen. How come? And for this long, I remember a cylinder when they were filling a 12.5 for 200 naira. And
Absolutely.
now, as a child, yes, I remember when they were filling for 200 naira. And now, suddenly, it became everybody's market. Is it that government suddenly looked at this and then businessmen, because anywhere you have capitalists, profit is the goal. They're looking into this area and focusing on making it more tedious and more difficult for people to access the only petroleum product that is, produced here, because we don't have to go and refine gas abroad. We do here and, flay it here. Is it that they're now bringing in this ease of doing business and they have businessmen, capitalists in this field?
Ease of doing business. I can't laugh. So I'm based in Shuttle Houston and here. I'm based in Houston and I have the smart gas business here. Okay. And when you talk about ease of doing business, I laugh. Because I'm sure you and I know, we know that it is non-existent. People really think I'm crazy coming here to set up smart gas at this time. But when you have a passion and you have a purpose, you just have to go with it. To answer your question, it seems very logical to you, the way you said it, that, okay, government is saying, let's, promote gas adoption, let's discourage solid fuels like, firewood, charcoal, like you said. However, on the other hand, how are you making it possible for the average person? Because when we started our business, we do cylinder sales as well. And then we realized, so we do 3 kg, 6 kg, 12.5, 25, and 50 kg. We realized that the highest selling ones are the 3 kg and 6 kg. And you would know why. Because the low-income earners are the ones who are not adopting it. You just mentioned that you can't remember when last, you never even used solid fuels. But trust me, charcoal and firewood is the staple for so many families. Now, they're the ones that are saying, okay, I have increased income. Let me buy 3 kg, let me buy 6 kg. But the truth of the matter is that it's not even affordable. The cylinder is one thing. The LPG is another thing. So to answer your question, governments, they're saying it theoretically that they want to also adopt it, but they're making it a bit difficult.
Well, from the article I'm reading in Business Day, they said that the federal government's plan to launch cylinder project, which will enable Nigerians to buy cheap cylinders. Is a thing that increase. So they understand that the cylinder itself is what dissuades people from actually using the LPG. But hopefully they give us the cylinders, maybe at a very, very cheaper price, more families will begin to use liquefied gas.
How cheap would the cylinders be? So I am worried that, people are looking for solutions. We have a lot of poor people in our midst. And I know that people are beginning to find that we can actually use safe coals as against the one that brings out all those emissions. So they make coals from coconut shells, which is safe. If there's no soot, it comes out clean energy. Now, people are looking in that direction because not everybody can afford this gas. Even if it's given free, people may not still be able to refill it. How much is minimum wage that sometimes people don't earn? What do you think the government should do to give other people options? Because this gas thing I'm saying, I don't know how feasible it is.
Honestly, it is. It's in terms of the policies. When you guys were talking the other time, you talked about the importance of having the right people with the know-how, who have capacity to understand the issues, to talk about strategies for adoption. So I am all for gas because, like you mentioned, abroad, when you turn on your cooktop, it's already piped because there's adequate city planning. We don't have that now, so there's no point for us to talk about that. But in terms of the cylinders, one of the things that we also do is we try to partner with community leaders to say, you know what, because you have the capacity, buy these cylinders. Own it on behalf of the people in your locality so that, like you said, the average person doesn't have to buy. They only buy the LPG inside it. So, for example, you're discussing with an urban in an area, and you're saying, you know what, with 5 million naira, for example, we will give you the cylinders because we have our own cylinders too. We will give you this particular quantity just for your people. So sometimes when you do some level of collaborations like that, it helps you to be able to give all these other people, gas to use. So, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And another thing, again, is about the fact of expired cylinders. A lot of explosions. There's no adequate information. This value chain is really very big, and the information is not out there. The average lifespan of a cylinder is 15 years. A lot of people don't even know. If I ask you, 15 years. If I ask you, do you know where to check the expiry date of your cylinder? You will not know. So
we're going to break. We're going to
exactly. You
I have new cylinders. I think
I know, right?
I think we don't buy new. You know that there's a problem when we come back. We talk about the new ones.
Come back. When your guy comes and changes the cylinder for you.
I mark my own. Brown. You cannot stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So thanks for staying with us. We're talking about gas, cooking gas. I want to bring this conversation home. Madam, you're a gas dealer, and I'd like you to talk about how, first of all, you talked about the gas, how to check 15 years. This is a picture of the gas cylinder. I drum, so you can show us how in this cylinder can you check for the expiration of the gas?
Okay, so for our own cylinders, I'll speak for our cylinders because manufacturers are different. Usually at the cap of the cylinder, so right there, somewhere you will see they would have engraved some things there.
Okay.
So they would have engraved some things there. You'll see the date, the net weight, all those kind of things. And then usually some would do it in terms of, so you can see A, B, C, D. A means like first quarter, January to March. Okay. B means that'll be April to June. Then July to, what's that, September, October, and then October. So you can, so your expiration can be like maybe D21. It means maybe the last quarter of 2021. So that's how you look at, that's how you look at the numbers, depending on who manufactured it. Yes. Wow. So that tells you.
I'm going to go and check my own. My own, they are so old.
Well, your own is D, 1981.
I'm telling you.
They are so old. The date is not there again.
And
they are brown. They are just like this.
But let's talk about the quality. Good. So I got a new, what is supposedly a new one, but he said it could have been refurbished. You know those ones that look new? They always line them up in filling stations. Those ones, those are the type that was the type I got when I got married. So that one is 12 years old. Okay. So
you celebrate
when I got a Tokumbo one, after a real, that one measured exactly. I'm telling you, 12 kg. Buy my gas person advisor, madam, this is cylinder, it looks fragile. Buy this one. And I bought that one till date. That Tokumbo one looks healthier, stronger. It didn't look before you bought it. It didn't look. Nah, I don't look dates. Nah. I just want to go check dates.
So this is not about the look. I'm trying.
Oh my goodness.
Is it about the look or the actual date?
Of course, it's not about the look. You know, so you have to have testings for your cylinders too. They advise that every 5 years they test the valve, they test the ring to ensure there are no leakages, all those kind of things. Usually, it's meant to be people like us, those who are in the gas sector, who probably sell cylinders or who sell gas. When you go and refill, they should be able to do all those testings for you and stuff like that. Exactly. Yeah, for example, on our mobile app, we don't do cylinder exchanges for cylinders that are 2016 and older. So if your cylinder is 2015, I'm not going to do an exchange for you because our cylinders are new, our cylinders are standard. I'm not going to change it with yours that you said is 1978. I'm not going to do that.
Because wait, now. I use 78. I just said they are
okay. So when we buy at gas filling stations, for some gas, there's this black whatever that is removed and changed.
Yes.
Some people will just give you like that. You get you start smelling. Is it that your cylinder is bad? That's why they are changing the rubber.
Sometimes it might not be that. It might just be that it is loose because you're filling and things like that. Ideally, it's meant to be standard procedure. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. Because we're talking about explosives, it's nice for us to have structured checkpoints, which we don't have. It's a whole lot of things. The good thing, honestly, where we want to get to, the medium to long-term plan for smart gas, for example, is for us to actually manufacture our cylinders locally. But that, again, comes to ease of doing business and manufacturing companies and the cost of it. The CBN tells you that there's intervention loan for gas adopters and that you have to go through the commercial banks. Then we'll go to the commercial banks and they don't even want to smell it 9 miles away. And then you're thinking a lot of these things are theory. They are not practical. Because you're talking about gas adoption, you're talking about availability of funds, but when we're really ready to do these things, one way or the other is just...
Is it now, let's come back to the issue of the... I mean, because I want us to do gas maintenance in the house. When you buy gas from the roadside, around it's not as full as when you take it when you get it from the gas stations. Why is that? Is it how do we know that I get full gas? Is there any way measurement I, as a homeowner, can measure to be sure that I'm getting full gas?
Okay, so usually... it's as simple as most people who sell gas should have skills.
Yes. Okay.
It's as simple as that. So when you send your, domestic staff or anybody, or you go there, when they fill it, just have it weighed, to see. A lot of people sometimes will tell you that, oh, I used to buy it from that person and it will last me 3 months. When I buy it from this other person, it will last me 1 month. I really can't validate that claim.
Okay. When is the cylinder full? At the point of purchase. So I buy at a gas plant. This particular gas, I've stopped going there. They would put it on a scale. And they have a measurement just as if they're selling petrol and you're buying. And it is not full on the meter that I'm counting. And you told me it is full. When exactly is it full? Because I can see it. And because I insist on, if it is not up to 12.5 kg, I know they remove the cylinder. you're not telling me I have to pay more
extra
because I have demanded more. What exactly is the measurement and how it really
to the brim?
And if your meter say it never reached 12.5, I know go come out.
So, well, that's a question for the person that did that, you know. But usually, so for example, one of our cylinders is the size is 20 kg, but it can take capacity of 25 kg. Okay. So sometimes they always advise that it shouldn't be, your cylinder will not really be too full to the brim. You understand? Yes, because exactly for all those kind of things and all that. Because that's why some people, when they finish using their cylinders at home, you know, they close the valve, you know, and then when you want to use it again, you open it. You kind of like have to educate people. So sometimes some people are outrightly dubious. Insincerity comes into play as well. And because the more they sell lower whatever to you, the more they can put some in their pocket. So it's all.
But that water they use to test if it's full. No, they
and also if it's leaking.
If it's leaking,
Okay, now my question is, for the lower income families and homes that would like to really go from kerosene usage or firewood usage to gas, how do they start? I mean, what are the safety precautions they can begin to learn from your experience? What do they do? Because they tell you to put the pipes through this, they put the gas outside, inside. Yeah. What are the safety things you can advise us on?
Okay. For the lower income earners, like I mentioned, a lot of them go for the 3 kg and the 6 kg. Okay. Those ones come with burners. They don't come with a pipe.
Yes.
You know, so they usually don't have. And then, so it's very simple.
Is that safer? Is that safer?
It's not really about safety. I think it's just about the size and what's just because it's very small. You know, it's very small like the stove. So really, you're not going to put a hose there. And then a lot of people put their cylinders outside. You're not going to kind of like put that you're doing a 3 kg or 6 kg. Most likely your house is small, your kitchen is small. So it's really just portable and it just has a burner. So it's just for one pot. People like you and I who are doing the 12.5, 25 kg, some 50 kg with large households use the hose, and then because you can have a 6-burner cooktop, you know, so for those lower income earners, it's easier to manage because it's on and off.
So this size is the
12.5. That's very popular
that's
for residential.
We all use.
Yeah. Yes.
All everybody on this table, that's what we use.
Yes.
12.5.
Except me, man, I went to buy that Tokumbo one that is very
that she said, and I love refurbished to the market.
I use 50 kg.
Really?
Wow. What is she cooking?
I put it
outside.
just
take a long
that kind of one, if it explodes, now the whole area I go carry you.
It's outside the house, and then it saves me time.
But the manufacturing date is also important. You need to look at that. A lot of them.
There is a massive. They are very dangerous. So,
they're the ones that
because the piping that you're talking about, you know, when we first moved to Shrine, the government piped, and I'm sure it's all those big companies. They did gas pipe. And that's how they use abroad.
Yes.
But can that work in Nigeria? I can't trust that one in Nigeria.
Maybe in new localities whereby you can structure.
Even new localities.
You know, where they
no, but fire go to build that. No, that happen. That blow up the whole yes.
You cannot even break those walls and repair again. So piping does not.
Because people don't follow town planning.
For example, even yesterday, so I was thinking where I stay when I'm around, we use electric on our whatever, and the bill, of course, it makes the lights. You know, so I'm thinking I do gas. I would like to have gas, but trust me, they configure that place not to use gas. There's even nowhere in the wall that I can pipe to, because you want to put your cylinders outside. So I'm stuck with using electricity. Let's leave that for another conversation.
We have to wrap up on this, but it's interesting to learn that the government wants to migrate everybody over, I think over the next 10 years, I believe, I think I read it somewhere, to start using gas. So obviously they'll start gradually by providing cylinders. We'll wait for them to come up with the blueprint for that. But more importantly, we also need to understand the safety concerning. Any final words for our viewers before we run off?
Okay, for those of you who use gas, as you would know, it's real. Explosions are there. It's very important for you to know the expiration dates on your cylinders. Safety is personal. You start first before you talk about the government. Gotcha. We also have our roles to play, you know, so it's very important for that. And of course, be on the lookout for smart gas.
Okay, you want to like their market. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us the Deputy Director, Investments and Securities Tribunal, Mr. Felix Onwuneme. He'll be discussing how to settle dividend disputes, solving financial issues, and the capital markets, especially with shareholders like all of us. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So, Missy had a question. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So, I would like to understand what exactly this investment tribunal does. What is your core responsibilities?
Okay. some years back, government realized that the capital market needed a specialized court that could be able to handle disputes arising from the capital market. The whole essence was to deepen the market so that people will have the desire to come into the market and invest. And so they set up a panel headed by late Chief Odife, and the panel came up with a recommendation which the government white paper eventually came up to establish the Investment and Securities Tribunal. What we do is essentially we settle disputes arising from, pursuant to Section 284 of the Act, disputes arising from between capital market operators and their clients. Let me give you an example. You have your stockbroker who handles your shares, and you give me a mandate, and maybe to sell, and he sells your shares. You don't hear from him. Money is not given back to you, or you ask him to buy. There's no evidence that he has bought anything. Then what you do, the tribunal is there to handle such matters. But before you come to the tribunal, because there are chains of dispute resolution in the market, you will first take your complaint to the SEC, that's the Securities and Exchange Commission. The commission will look at it. They'll do their best. They have their own internal quasi-judicial functions to resolve disputes in the market. When you are dissatisfied with what they've done, you now escalate it back to the tribunal. Just give them what we call pre-action notice of 14 days that you are dissatisfied with their findings and you want to go to the tribunal. You come to the tribunal.
This one, that you have taken everything that I would have loved to ask. What exactly is the duration of this period? Because justice delayed is justice denied. And one of the discouragements, why people don't pursue these issues, we have people who have bought shares, who have had, disputes like this in the past that just left it to God. And watching the person.
Like me.
So what's the duration that this is supposed to take so that the person has, is encouraged to pursue such grievances?
In the amendment that is going on the Investment and Securities Act, there is a complaint management framework that is being put in place. But before that, what we have now is that once you make that complaint to the SEC, if they are not able to resolve it within a reasonable time, what we call reasonable time, we check it because the law tells us that when the matter comes to the IST, we have 3 months to give judgment from the date from the date that substantive suit commences. What I mean by that is the hearing. What I mean by that is this: when you bring your matter, there could be some preliminaries like I know lawyers with their antics. The court does not have jurisdiction, non-gender of parties. All those preliminaries are settled. The day the case commences hearing, you have 3 months to give judgment.
Okay. But okay, so I don't know how familiar you are, and this question is really not for you, but hearing you now, I feel like maybe I have hope because in the US many years ago, I lost $40,000 to a crack, stockbroker who used to work at a stock firm. He was working there, and he was one handling my account. Then the bank told me, say, this guy is no more working with us. Should we continue? Should we assign you a new stockbroker or give your account to him? And because I was very naive and small, I said, give it to the guy. Yes. He took my account, and within 2 months, from $40,000, it went to $2,000. And I just left the whole thing to God. So if we have this kind of thing, if they have it, maybe I can still bring up the issue. But that was just an aside. That I'm happy that there's a tribunal that if it was Nigeria, I could have actually come to help me get that sorted. Okay, my question therefore is, some of us have shares and we've totally forgotten about it. We don't even know where our documentation is. Do people like that have an opportunity to still get their money, or is it too late for them to find that money?
It's not.
Okay. Just to add to her, I have my documents, the shares I bought to a bank, one of the major banks.
Yes.
Since 2001. When they bring money, they send 1 naira or 2 naira. In fact, they stopped sending that 1 naira, 2 naira paper like about 10, 15 years ago. Okay. Till date, nothing. Do I take them to the tribunal?
Can it be recovered?
No, you see, you can. Let me start with her.
Yeah.
Your own challenge is that with what they are sending to you were your dividend warrants. Dividend warrants, once you get it, you go to the bank, it's converted to money. But now that has changed. Okay. We have what we call e-dividend now. You go to your registrar, they give you a form you fill, you put your account number and everything. So nobody needs to send you any paper again. Okay. As you receive bank alert, that's the way money comes. Even if it's even better now because assuming it is just 3,000 naira that comes, and you have to transport yourself to the bank. It's a waste of money. But now the cash comes into your account. So that is settled.
Who is the registrar?
But they've not been paying
every share that you have, there is a registrar that handles it. Like First Bank has a registrar. So all you need to do, you could Google it and find out which stock do you have, and find out who are the registrars. Then you can approach them. In your own case, I don't think, well, if it was in Nigeria,
yes,
I think the challenge here is your stockbroker, the second stockbroker, which I think it was with your consent that he was handling that good. Yes. It depends on the mandate you gave him. If you gave me a mandate to have a free hand to operate, to handle your shares, he can buy and sell at will using his best judgment. But if you didn't give him such a mandate, you can tell him, I want you to buy XYZ share from me. So if anything goes wrong, you know you're the one that directed him to do that. But in this case, it appears you gave me a blanket authority. So he dealt with the shares as felt. But of course, we know in 2008 there was a problem in shares globally. So everything came crashing down.
So because you mentioned jurisdiction earlier, saying that when they dealt with preliminary objections as regards jurisdiction before they now start proper trial, that's when the 3 months start. What exactly are the disputes that you have jurisdiction over this tribunal?
Okay. Like I said initially, when you have a problem between a stockbroker and his client, when you have a problem, issues like non-remittance of issue process. What I mean by issue process is, there are companies whose duty are to manage IPOs. IPOs are initial public offering. Now, when they make those adverts and people buy those shares, now the money is supposed to be remitted to the company that issued the shares, that floated the shares to the public. Now, when sometimes they misappropriate it, they don't send it to the issuing house, you can come to the tribunal. When the SEC, that's the SEC, now has sanctioned a market operator, and the market operator is not satisfied with that, he comes to the tribunal. When we have issues relating to collective investment scheme, how it is managed, how it's operated, if issues arises from that, you come to the tribunal. When you have issues about interpretation of the Investment and Securities Act, issues arises, you want a particular section to be interpreted, you come to the tribunal. So entire gamut of every dispute that arises in the market, we can come to the tribunal for redress.
What is IST doing about Ponzi schemes?
Good.
We have a lot of them that have duped people. Money is lost. Are you doing anything about it?
That's a good question. Before the celebrated Benny Madoff case in the US, we had, in a case called All Green Investments in Nospector, handled such a case. In fact, 3 weeks ago, the Supreme Court affirmed our decision in Nospector. Nospector was one of these...
Nospector?
Nospector.
No, Nospector. Hey. Don't go there.
Okay, go on.
Now, the Supreme Court affirmed... The tribunal they gave a judgment directing CBS to warehouse the funds. Of course, they went into the company, confiscated their assets, froze the account, tried to get the register of people that invested so that they can be able to know how much everybody invested. Now, the matter dragged on from the tribunal to the Court of Appeal to Supreme Court. Supreme Court now affirmed our decision. And now we directed the initial hearing that they should get the register of members and aggregate whatever they can find in their accounts, sell their assets that they were able to locate, and now pro rata give people back
their money.
So,
thank God.
It could not be done because they were fighting to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court about 3 weeks ago gave a final judgment.
At the time Nospector came, a lot of people did not know the difference.
Yes.
Some of those Ponzi schemes, you will not even know who is the
head.
Yes, you will not know. They will come.
How do you find them?
That is the issue, because they are not registered with the SEC. Normally, because of regulation, every person that wants to go into investment must register with SEC. Because they're not registered, that is why they do all they do and try to get away with it. But of course, when such issues arises, we try to get through their records.
How easy, sir, is it for them to just come into the market and begin to play? Somebody just wake up in the morning and we just say, this is the new one. It is MMM today. It is that one tomorrow. They come up with all sorts. So is it that there are no regulations that these guys have to go through some kind of body before they can begin to operate?
That is why we call them illegal schemes, because they avoid regulation and they try to prey on the greed of investors. That somebody tells you, if you put in 1 million, you can get 1 million in 3 months. In which economy in the world can that be possible? What investment are you going into? Is it this economy? Even in the US economy, can you even get a 30% return in 3 months? It's not possible.
So are there legal ways of getting, I mean, you said there are illegal Ponzi schemes. Are there legal schemes that we can actually come to your website to check, to verify that these guys, or even from the CBN website to verify that if these guys are approved to operate in Nigeria?
No, from time to time, the SEC publishes list of illegal fund managers or investment schemes. Only that people, even there was a day a cousin of mine called me. There's one, she called me and said she wants to put her money. I said, no, don't. Go online. I went online. I gave it to her. I sent her a bill. I said, look, don't try this. I think it was last 3 months, the bubble burst. People were crying.
Oh. But when Nospetco came, he had a structure. I know that a lot of pensioners, I know at least 5 pensioners whose gratuity was paid into Nospetco. They were supposed to be like a pension scheme where they paid them a certain amount of money based on what they invested. And those people just open mouth down. So some are late now. So, no matter how laudable, please just educate people, no matter how laudable a scheme looks, no matter how properly structured, as if it was a normal legal one, it looks, what exactly must you look for? Is it just that whether it's flagged down by the CBN alone or
even when it is not flagged down, because you may not be able to, there may be others that the SEC have not even noticed, so they cannot be able to put them on their website to say avoid this. I think the red flag would be, what are they offering us? If somebody comes to tell you that you can make so return within such a period, you ask yourself, in which economy? If I ask them, what are you investing into? What are you using this money to? If it is in the stock market, it's not possible.
Is it cocoa? All right.
Even if it's oil and gas, it's not possible. So you notice that all of them prey on our greed. And when that happens, and of course, the most
Forum, that bank.
Yes, that Wonder Bank.
Wonder Bank.
You did that one.
Me,
I get not daring like that. But let me ask you this question.
All their money.
How successful have your organization been? Because tribunal, I mean, want to know, to be nice to know who and who have been convicted, who and who, the success story, so that we know that, listen, you are working for us. Because sometimes we hear of these things and it just looks like it's fantastic in paper. But we've not actually seen convicted criminals who have been put in jail.
Incidentally, we are a civil court. And what that means is that we don't handle criminal matters. Okay. We're purely civil. What we're interested in is in the money. How do we recover your money? Since we started, we've handled about 600 cases with a monetary value of about 800 billion.
Wow.
Those are awards we made for people.
You returned 800 billion.
800
and they collected their money.
In this economy. Right, there's 800 billion flowing somewhere.
I missed that. I was reading tweets. Where is 800 billion?
There's no tweets. We are reading tubes.
I was reading tubes.
They are returning 800 billion.
To investors. From the judgments we've given. The total money value of all the judgments we've given to investors is about 800 billion.
So how
I'm coming with my own bank matter.
How is disbursement going to be? For those, like I mentioned, that some of them are late now, how exactly is the disbursement going to be? Is it just a next of kin? A letter of administration?
Yes, it depends. It depends on what documentations you had when you went into that transaction.
Let me take this call from Babalola. Babalola, are you there? Hello? Oh, we lost that. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, let me ask you. So what should we expect from IST in 2021? What's your outlook?
In 2021, what we're trying to do is we want to go purely digital. In fact, we're one of the first courts in the country that started digital recording of our proceedings. We don't take notes in the court.
Wow.
What we do is it's recorded. You speak into the mic. It's recorded. We have transcribers. Within 48 hours of sitting, transcribers come. It's not that even if you cough,
the judges are enjoying themselves.
Yes.
That's true.
Even if you cough, it's recorded. So you cannot say, maybe you're going on appeal and you ask for a record of proceedings. You cannot say, I didn't say this. That's why we say, please, once we start sitting, please, nobody should answer phone calls or say anything because it goes into the microphone. So we want to digitalize all our courts. We have 6 courts: Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, Enugu. And so we want to make sure that all our courts are digitalized. Then, of course, we started having, before the COVID-19, we had a test run of virtual hearing. We had a witness who was outside the country and basically couldn't be back. So we had to test it, and it worked for us.
Wow.
So when the COVID started, it was not a problem for us to continue.
How enormous are the cases at hand? Because this is Nigeria. These kind of tribunals go for years, and there's a backlog.
Saying 3 months.
3 months.
So it's 3 months you have per case.
Yes. Once hearing begins, once you finish with the preliminaries, it's 3 months, you must give judgment.
Okay, let me take Desmond from Kaduna. Desmond, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, please. I want to ask about this topic. There is this investment platform that is very GSM invested close to about 600,000. And the thing looked or sounded very real, but I knew that something was wrong with it anyway. Now, this platform is called BRICS. They call it BRICS. It has crashed, and I learned that the guy has been arrested. Now, I don't know if your guest has information about that investment and how sure are we that we'll be able to recover that money.
Okay. So this is another Ponzi scheme.
It's a Ponzi scheme, obviously. We don't have that record, but like I said, if you liaise this with the SEC, the SEC will be able to know whether it's a genuine platform or whether it's an illegal platform. And if it's an illegal platform, they have a way of going after them.
Okay.
First of all, they come to the tribunal, we make an order, they freeze the accounts, then they see the premises, so that they can be able to get something in case they're able to get the record, the register of people that
So, sir, it's SEC that must report to you. We can't come directly to you.
You can. Section 284 of the Act has 2 options. We have an appeal, which is when SEC looks into the matter. Then we have a direct walk-in. But in those cases where you come directly to the tribunal, it has to do with where SEC, the complaint is against the SEC.
Oh.
You understand?
Okay.
But in most cases that relate to me and you, where you have problem with your stockbrokers, it must go to them.
Go to them first.
Yes.
And they don't complain to you.
Because they will carry their investigation, because they have an investigation department that carries out investigation, like all this Ponzi scheme. They go and get all the documents they need before they now come.
So Forex, that means Desmond should find a way to report to NCC.
Yes.
Right? Once they would then investigate,
yes.
Once they verify that it's an illegal Ponzi scheme, they now come to you.
Yes.
And they come. All right, let's talk about Forex, illegal Forex dealings here and there. People are, they'll say, once you join this Forex, so you bring this amount of money, you earn this amount of money. I mean, I have loads of people who come to me to join this thing. I'm just very skeptical. Are those legal ways of also investing?
For now, Forex is not regulated. We don't have a regulation for Forex in the country for now. I advise that we stay away for now until things are put in place. Anybody that puts his money in Forex, you may not be able to tell the story.
But do you have any regulation as regards Bitcoin companies that are floating?
No, all those cryptocurrencies for now, we don't.
Do you have any plans in the future?
Yes, CBN, yes. They're working on it, but for now,
having our own digital money.
So that's all the money they haven't paid me for, will I get it back?
Yes, once you register, once you go for, you do your e-dividend registration, you receive a lot back into your.
Well, sir, the Forex companies that CBN have seized their accounts because of obviously maybe some legal dealings, can those who have invested get their money back? Those who have invested, those Forex companies?
Yes, I believe CBN, once they can have the records, because they have to prove that you actually invested, once they can have access to the register of those operators, they can, I'm sure with time they'll be able to.
Who do they go to, NCC also? Or?
No, if it's in the custody of CBN, because those are money transactions, those are not purely capital market transactions, so they go to CBN.
Oh, so it goes directly, so you have to report directly to CBN.
Yes.
You are a government organization, Abi?
It is, yes.
Work for government.
Mikey doesn't like government people.
Did I say anything?
You didn't say
I'm telling him because
you didn't say anything. You asked a question.
I just asked whether it will work or not work, since it's government.
Okay, we have to wrap up. Thank you very much, sir. Are there any final words you want to give to us concerning? Because there are lots of people, we are all shareholders, we are in the capital market, many people are there investing, they want to make money, we want quick money. What is that thing what's that final words you can say to those of us that are looking for opportunities to diversify? People like the anti-personal development say, diversify, we make income from different people. They advise us and we diversify, yet they are duping us. How do we,
I will advise us to seek to raise funds through the capital market. That's what is called the Capital Market Master Plan, 10 years, 2015 to 2025, which is ongoing now. The whole essence is to deepen the market. And having this knowledge that you have an adjudicatory platform that you can take your grievances to, it gives you some comfort.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and unfortunately, because I don't know whether I can say capital market is elitist, most people don't even know we exist. So maybe with this forum, I'm letting people know that, please, you have an avenue where you can ventilate your grievances if you have lost money in the market.
Okay.
So please feel free to invest.
That's good to know.
My own is not even market. My own is always bank. One day I went back to the bank where I put my money. The bank was no more there.
That many years
I
ago.
just stood in front of the bank like this.
Did you cry?
That was many years ago, YK.
Where is this bank? And it was gone.
That's not possible, YK.
The bank has gone under now. That's what it means.
I didn't see the bank there. The building was not there. It was another thing there.
They didn't have branches.
I don't.
So why can they say you can go to Amco?
Like that's many years ago.
They will help you find a way to reach your money.
That can be.
No.
But there's another thing. If your stockbroker has gone down.
I don't have stockbroker.
No, assuming you have one, it has gone down. There is a fund called the Investors Protection Fund, where if the stockbroker cannot be traced and your money appears to be gone, there's a little amount, just like NDIC gives some comfort to depositors. The Investors Protection Fund gives comfort to people who invest in the market, where the stockbroker has run away or what we call defalcation. He has
disappeared.
Nigeria is working. Thank you. I mean, that's comforting. That's comforting. Nigeria is working. It will work. Don't worry. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
That's all we can.
My bank.
That's all we can say.
I don't enter their trouble many times.
Why can't I miss now? Why can't I miss? See you tomorrow, Jerry. Have a lovely day. On the bounce,